Hey Lisa, so I am gonna start now on my final reflection in all of grad school. Woo! Yay! So let me start by saying thank you for all of your help and flexibility during this whole pandemic. I know it was not only like a learning curve for us, but also even different for you, I'm sure as well. And I can say that it was really difficult for me to make it through this final term, um, just financially, emotionally, from just start to end, and especially even now with what's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, and just trying to even finish out this final video. It's taken me a little bit longer than I was hoping, but definitely putting in all of my time and energy into it. I just want to finish out strong. So, that being said, I think through all these hurdles and major life events that I deserve an A in the class, because despite all these like challenges and just everything going on, I feel like I did my best work. And um, the reason I feel like I did that and that I deserve this A is because I've stayed engaged throughout the entire course. I've attended office hours on several occasions to reach out for guidance or if I ever had any questions. And I also would reach out through the discussion boards to my classmates, um, and just try to utilize that as much as possible to get my questions answered, not only by you as the professor, but also like my fellow students. And I also spent a lot of time with our group project. So many of the questions that I had come up were circulating with the group project. And I spent a, a majority of my time, I would say, in this class working on that project. And I just feel like it came out really well. And I also um, took on the role as the communication lead for the group, and communicated with you via email, and then relayed our communication and all the messages that you sent to me as the group lead back to my group. And I definitely, it was a little bit, an extra role and responsibility that I took on. But I did that because I've had this group in the past, and they were an awesome support system and really did help me out, and I wanted to help them too this time around, and take on a little extra responsibility so that they could relax a little bit. And because of that, it did give me a little bit more work to do, but I didn't mind. It was just trying to find, I would say, motivation through all of this was difficult. So I would say I'm like really proud of myself for just making it to the end of grad school, and the end of trying to like make it through this whole school situation with what's going on in the world, because it's pretty distracting to try to focus on school and then also try to keep my attention on what's going on in the world as well. So I felt like I was a little bit split between the two. And I would say a lot of my energy went into also the fiscal analysis. And I am so lucky because, we were able to do that as a group as well. And I stayed with my teaching and learning group. So that was Zena, Mary, and Kelly. And we powered through that assignment together. And it made it a lot easier because math is not my strong suit. And I did like that we got to think of like the social equity part of like the fiscal analysis. That was awesome because it took away from like having to do a lot of math. And I had to say I was very nervous about that because don't I'm not really good with math. So being able to focus on like the social piece of like why potentially there was like gaps in it, and it made it like easier for me to understand, and then I had my group to help me power through that, so it was a lot less scary having them too on the team, and having being able to ask them questions along the way. So I feel like, through it all, I was able to power through that assignment and power through the group assignment. And, reflecting back, I remember when I did my initial group my initial not orientation on the class. It was that video of what I hoped to get in the class. And I know that I said I hoped to get an A, but I just feel like I definitely earned that A, and it wasn't an easy A to get because, let me tell you, I have been distracted pretty much since the lockdown started, and it's almost like every day we're waking up to something new and something like a little bit more hectic, to say the least, and it was hard, and I'm just really happy to be, at the end, but I also feel like, you know, thinking in the future, like, that this is not the end, and I want to do so much more, because I feel like, you know, I feel like it's not the end for my full-on schooling, so I feel like I still wanted to go back and maybe potentially get my PhD or even a degree in nursing, and I think that once the world is a little bit less, I would say, not scary, but safe, and it's more, it's not that it's less safe, but that it's safe for people in an educational setting to return. There we go. Couldn't find the words for a second. So, I want to go back to school whenever it's safe for students again to return to the classroom, because I do learn, I feel like, especially if it's nursing, and when I've seen like the nurses lately and them like just being in the field and, being like on the front lines with the coronavirus, it almost like triggered something in me to go back to nursing school again, and it was always my dream, and I wanted to just like add that on top of my social work degree, and be like a social justice warrior slash nurse. I don't know what kind of degrees out there or what kind of title I would have with that, but I think that would be really cool and that they would pair really well together. So I've been kind of exploring some nursing schools recently. Maybe, I'm just, with everything that I've been through, and I struggle with a learning disability, and just, I can't believe I made it through grad school, and seeing how I made it this far, I know I could finish nursing school too. It would take a little bit more of my ability to concentrate, so I would say when things are a little bit more calm as well, and being able to like focus my attention on completing nursing school or completing my PhDs, when I'll probably resume and go after those. But I think that just going through grad school has really just helped shape me into an amazing, like, just personally and professionally, I've grown, and it's just gone from being I've gone from being like an uneducated, in my white privileged little bubble, to, I would say, a much more just like compassionate, empathetic, and I don't know, person filled with like solidarity at times. And I just want to continue this journey and continue like nurturing myself and my soul and my future, so that like I can like share that work and, be an effective and competent agent of change. And I think that the best way to do that is to like continue on this path and go for like the next level of education and take it as far as I can. If I could, I'd probably be a student forever, to be honest, because I love learning. And I know I might not be able to do that in the class setting, but I do plan on also just like continuing this education through like some of the things that I've joined. So like the ACOSA membership, I know they post a lot of stuff. I did join the NASW, and I was introduced to like the social work podcast, which I also really enjoy, and I try to like stay up to date with things now, and I feel like a lot more informed, which is something I have to attribute to graduate school, and it's been an all around just amazing journey. And there, with everything going on, I just have to say that I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of my classmates for making it through to the end, because it was very hard. I know I've said that a few times, but whew, it was very hard with this whole coronavirus and the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. And I also wanted to reflect on like my mission statement. And because I remember you mentioned like maybe adding that on at the end, and I kind of created a little something. I liked it. It's not, I would say, a mission statement per se, but more of just like a statement. And that's to say like that my passion started off as a small seed and has now sprouted into a giant tree of solidarity, compassion, and empathy. And I hope to continue nurturing myself, the seed, and my future work, so that I can grow into a better person and become an effective, competent social worker and an agent of change, so that I can share and educate my peers and family on like social like equity practices, and share the fruits of my labor from my journey to becoming a master's degree female in the social work field. And I want to continue nurturing myself, and I am thinking of myself of it as a tree, and maybe like bearing fruits, and doing that by participating in like communities like at the ACOSA clubs, and just being involved in my community, educating my peers and my coworkers and my family members, because I feel like sometimes they go to me, not always, but sometimes my family specifically will come to me with questions they have about social inequalities, and especially with the current political climate, I felt like my education has prepared me to be able to teach them about things and change maybe their mindset, and really like be on the front lines, I guess, in my own way on with this whole topic. And I'm very happy to have made it to the end and just be the person that I feel like I've become. And just to wrap this video up, I wanted to reiterate that I feel like I got an A grade, and I feel like this was earned through the amount of dedication completed even in the midst of a pandemic. And I really do hope that you have an amazing summer, and I'll maybe see you again sometime. So thank you so much, Lisa. Take care.